KXLY4's Annie Bishop is in Boise for the trial. And Annie, this is an emotional case, not only for the family and jurors, but for the media as well.
It was certainly a tough day. Opening arguments lasted about an hour and a half. The U.S. District Attorney Tom Moss spending most of that time describing in great detail exactly what Duncan did, how he attacked the Groney family and Mark McKenzie, and what he did with Dylan and Shasta when he was in that remote campsites in the Montana forest. We also know that before he attacked the family, that there was a lot of planning that he did. Tom Moss says that Duncan read several books about crimes and also a book about how the Amber Alert system works. He said, quote, "So when I did what I wanted to do, I would walk through any net you put up," meaning any net that investigators would put up. He really did everything he could to make sure that he couldn't be caught. Now, yesterday, Duncan also gave a brief opening statement. He said, for the most part, he agrees with the state's or the government's case and that it's fair and accurate, but he disagrees with what federal prosecutors say happened at that remote campsite where Dylan died. So he says he'll take the stand to tell his side of the story. As I mentioned, it was a tough day, and the jurors certainly it's going to be definitely a tough few weeks, because we also learned that they are going to have to watch 3 sexually explicit videos that Duncan took of Dylan in a cabin in Montana. So I can only imagine it's going to get more tough as the days wear on. As you mentioned this morning, federal prosecutors will call up their first witness, and that's expected to be Deputy Dan Matos, the first detective officer who actually went to the Groney home to check on the family and discovered the bodies of Slade Groney, Brenda Groney, and Mark McKenzie. Mike Kalai.
Annie, what was it like to actually hear Duncan speak in the courtroom? Obviously, we haven't heard much from the guy, but I can only imagine what it was like for you personally as well as those jurors.
It's a little eerie. And that perhaps was the most disturbing part about it all, is that you're hearing U.S. District Attorney Tom Moss describe all of these things that he has done, and he's admitted to them. It's not like he is denying it. So it's fact. And then you're looking across the room, and you see Joseph Duncan sitting there. He's got a big orange or yellow sweatshirt on, yellow pants, a long beard, really long, scraggly hair. And you're hearing these things, and you're looking at the person that did it. And for me, that was the hardest part, because we read about a lot of these details in court documents, and we've heard about what happened, but it's not until you actually hear those grisly details that no one has heard before, especially in an open court that no one has heard before. It really hits home, and to hear him speak, it's a little different. He's a little soft spoken, which I found surprising. It will be interesting to see what he has to say on when he takes the stand, and if he decides to cross-examine the witnesses that federal prosecutors plan to call up. Federal prosecutors are saying they're going to call 90 witnesses. So I can imagine during some point of that he would have to cross-examine them. So it's going to be very interesting, but it's tough to sit in the same room with them, I have to admit, Mike.
Annie, thanks for covering the story. We're going to keep you updated on our website, KXLY.com. Throughout the day, we have a live blog and are keeping you updated with up-to-the-minute reports as the trial gets underway today.